because we haven't done it enough. Too many times we find ourselves going the other way. Blaming, not loving enough, not supporting enough, not encouraging enough of all the women in our life. So the Bible understands the character of man and says, hey, you've got to love that woman. How much? If you look at another part of the Bible, it says, love your woman the way Christ loved the church. How much did Christ love the church? How much did God love the women? And the Bible tells us, just as Christ loved the church, which means be willing to even die for your person. And I think as men, if we can express that kind of love that really lets the other person know, I love you so much, I would even die for you. That the dynamic of that relationship takes on a whole new character. There's a sense of security that happens in your relationship with the woman. I would die for you. If we can express that, the relationship is strengthened. It grows. Here's another part. I know, whether you consider yourself a child or not, as children, obey your parents in everything. And this is good for us because even at my age, and I'm getting close to, well, I'm past 45, well, I don't want to say, but getting close to 50. Even at my age, I can still find myself looking back in my life and remembering the things that my mom and dad told me, which I thought was foolishness, right? Because I grew up in America. I know. I'm smart. That's the way I thought. Before I even graduated elementary school, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I am so smart. I understand more than my mom and dad. That's the way I thought. But when I look back now, the simplest things and the advice that my parents used to give me, I understand, oh my gosh, it clicks now. They were right. It makes sense. Because it's not a matter of the fact that parents are smarter. It's not a matter of fact that parents are perfect. But understanding the fact that parents love us so much, they want us to learn not only from their successes, but from their mistakes. Especially from their mistakes, so that they don't have to make the same ones. Right? That's why they share so much. And if we can begin to understand and to listen to our parents, I really believe that the household begins to become stronger and stronger. Fathers, or more likely parents, do not provoke your children. This is hard for me. It's hard because I feel like I am provoking my kids all the time. When one of my kids doesn't listen to me, something comes over me that makes me feel like a child, and I am in a face-to-face, head-to-head argument with them, and I must win. I've got to win. That's how I feel. But that passage says, stop provoking your kids. Stop it. And I think one of the ways that we provoke our kids, we irritate our kids, is by vicariously living through them. Vicariously living through them. A parent of one of my kids' friends said to me, the biggest problem, I know I want to encourage my child when things go wrong, but the biggest difficulty I have is, and she said, I like to live vicariously through my child. And she was somewhat joking, but I think it's very true. Academically, we love to live vicariously through our kids. Through sports, through music, whatever your kids do, we love to live vicariously through our kids. I want my kids to get A's all the time. I go, why did you get an A in that class? And my wife likes to bring me down, likes to ground me. And she says, what did you get in that class when you were in high school? Oh, breaks me, right? What did you get? Or how far did you get? Stop living vicariously through your kids. Stop trying to make them into what you want them to be. But these are words of encouragement that remind us to raise our kids to what God wants them to be. Right? Start thinking about, what did God intend for Ellen, my daughter? What did God intend for Audrey, my daughter? And I think if we can begin to think in those terms, how we look at our child, how we look at our wife, our husband, begins to change. I want to encourage you guys, these three things. Recognize, appreciate, and encourage the women around you. Not just your wives or your mom, but all women. Recognize, appreciate, and encourage them. We need to recognize the gifts that they have. We limit women around us too much. Whether it's our culture, whether it's our insecurity, we limit our women. If you look around, it really is, ever since the beginning of time, women probably contribute more to our life than we contribute to theirs. Women probably contribute more to this church than the men do. That's just basic reality. And if we can, as men and as children, if we can kind of take ourselves a little bit out of our insecurity and start lifting up the women, I really believe amazing things will happen to those women. That they will blossom. That their sense of leadership will really come out to be the leaders that God has made them to be. We need to appreciate women. We don't appreciate women enough. We don't. We don't thank our women enough. Some of the things that our women do, they do so often, and they do it so well, we think they're supposed to do it like that. All the time. Without any thanks. Right? Let me ask you, in your home, whether you're, or if you don't have kids in your home, you can think back to when you were the child. If you are a parent, what do you think is the most important thing in your home? Your car? Your house? Your spouse? What? I think my wife and I would both say our kids. The kids are the most important things to us. Because they, and you can tell by the fact that we spend the most time on them. We spend the most energy and headache on them. Right? They're the most important things to us. If they are the most important thing, think about this. Who is the biggest influence on them? Most likely, in most homes, in general, it's probably the mom. And if it's that woman who is the biggest influence on the kids that are the most important things to me, how do I need to treat that woman? Think about that. I will tell you, in another context, if you have kids and they go to school, they play any sport, if they play any instrument, whatever it is that they do, they will have a teacher, a coach, or an instructor, right? Correct? I will give you the best advice in raising your kids. Do not get their teacher, their coach, or instructor mad at you. Why? Because they're going to be harsh on your kids that are the most important things. You've got to kind of work with them. More than coaches, teachers, and instructors, the person that has the most influence on your kids is the woman in your house. I want to encourage you guys. Lift that woman up. Encourage them. Lift them up. Give them rest. Whatever it takes. And then your kids will blossom. Say, hey, like I said, this, at the beginning of the message, some women say, well, it's Mother's Day, but I'm not a mom. But I really believe when we look at the relationship in the church, if we take it to heart, that whether you are a young woman, whether even, high school, college, whatever, to the older women who are already working, it helps us to open our life to being a more caring person for the people around us. And I really believe that that's what we're here to celebrate today. So I want to encourage you guys, all the women here, single, no mom, whatever, all the women, I want to encourage you guys. You come from a long line of powerful, spiritual women. Look at your past. Look at the older women that have come before you in your life. Look at the Bible. Look at Mary, the mother of Jesus. Look at Sarah. Go all the way back to Eve. You come from a long, powerful, spiritual line of women. But more than that, I really believe that you come from a powerful, spiritual circle of women right here. I love the women of our church. You come from such a great group of people. I shared this a couple weeks ago when women gathered at our house, monthly women's fellowship. And when I came into the house, they were already gathering. There was so much laughter. I sensed the encouragement and the bonding that was going on. The prayers that were going on. I want to encourage the women. You got to help each other. You got to encourage each other. You got to rally around each other. And when you do that, other people will see the gifts of you, especially the men, and then we can rally around you also. So today, even in this place, we want to really recognize the power of women. So I want to encourage you, the women, I know you don't like to kind of do anything interactive, but I want to encourage the women to stand. Just to stand up. Let's stand up. And as the women are standing, other people, it doesn't matter. Like I said, all women, we want all women to stand. Just to stand. And I know you might feel uncomfortable, so you can either keep your eyes open or you can just close them. But for everyone else to look at these women and to recognize that God is going to do something great with these women. God is going to do something great. God is already doing something great. I want to invite the other people. It doesn't have to be your spouse, but just to come next to them and just lightly put your hand on them, on their shoulder, and we're going to